Hello, Dazzle. Thanks for coming hanging out with me today. I am glad that you are here. Today, I want to talk about the art of embracing uncertainty and the ways that doing so makes us stronger. I've been struggling a lot with feelings of uncertainty in my life as of late, and I've been struggling with how to feel more comfortable with them. Because of that, I have needed to remind myself why embracing uncertainty is important. After all, understanding why something is worth doing is the first step in being able to achieve it. The only thing certain is life is death and taxes, as Benjamin Franklin said. Uncertainty is inescapable. Whether we like it or not, there will always be things that are simply beyond our control. And yet, so often we find ourselves fighting against the very thing that is inevitable. We try to plan every step of our lives thinking that we can just control the variables, we can avoid any negative outcomes. But the truth is that no matter how much we plan, there will always be the element of the unknown. We can never plan things in such a way to prevent every negative outcome in our lives. Bad things will always happen. We will experience suffering. It is part of being human, as essential to our humanness as mortality and breathing. When we chase the illusion of control, we are only trapping ourselves into a constant state of planning and panic. This is a state where we are constantly looking towards the future and asking ourselves, what are all the possible negative outcomes that could result from the various different choices that we could make in our lives? And that trap is a state that often leads us to inaction. When someone becomes preoccupied with planning and the evaluation of risk, they risk really missing that moment when action is required in order to take advantage of an opportunity that presents itself in their lives. The more that we try to control our lives, the more that we limit our ability to truly live. Because when we're constantly worrying about all of the possible what ifs, we're not present in the moment, in the right here and the right now. We're not able to enjoy the good times because we're too busy preparing for all the worst things that could happen. We're not able to talk with our friends freely because we are preoccupied with what they might think of what we say next. We're not able to take the risk of applying for the next job because we're afraid of the rejection that we could experience. We're not able to walk away from the bad relationship because we can't imagine what could come after it. And this leaves us in a stasis where we're floating through our lives as victims of the circumstances around us rather than as moving through life as active and participating characters. So, what if we embrace uncertainty instead? What if we accepted that there will always be things beyond our control and that this isn't necessarily a bad thing? When we embrace uncertainty, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We're no longer limited by our fears of the unknown, and we can start to live more fully. Because accepting uncertainty means that there will always be possibilities beyond the things that we can imagine. We're not limited by our fear. It means that there is no way to fully know or plan for whatever it is that's coming next. Thus, a certain degree of impulsivity and spontaneity becomes required for life. Embracing uncertainty is unlocking your mind from the illusion that you have control of everything in your life, regardless of the choices that you make in your life. You never have any control over the choices that others are going to make, or the actions that others are going to take. You can be a very safe driver, but that doesn't prevent you from dying in a car accident because another driver chose to be careless or to get behind the wheel while they were impaired. The irony is that embracing uncertainty grants you the power to make choices more freely, because you no longer need your choices to be perfect or certain or completely safe. You can act while things are still unclear. When we accept that we can't control everything in our lives by embracing uncertainty, we are accepting the autonomy and free will of others. This will likely lead to better relationships, since you no longer feel pressured to impose your will upon others or need to force others to conform to your desires. This acceptance of personal autonomy allows you to explore others on a much more intimate level. When you're focused on controlling or managing or mitigating their behaviors as a method to ensure control in your life, that's really all you can see, is the possible things that could go wrong if they choose to do something you can't predict. When we are living in the moment with a focus on the moment, we are better prepared to authentically respond to the things that are happening in our lives. And this means that we are more likely to take the risks that allow us to connect to others. It means that we are also more likely to see the moments that are opportunities in our lives to make those desired changes. We can begin to see the promotion as a way to improve our standard of living, rather than just as a list of unknown job duties and unpredictable work experiences. This change in mindset allows us to become more flexible and adaptable to the things that are happening around us, rather than being forced to exist with the things that happened to us as we just kind of float along. And to me, this seems where resilience is born. It may seem like a unicorn in the world of mental illness, but it is an achievable goal. And one of the first steps to being able to withstand or recover quickly from difficulties is accepting that they are going to come in a manner that is beyond your control. Part of this resilience also comes from having less formulated expectations for the future. When we have a clear and crisp imagining of what our work will bring forth, it is easy to become disappointed when that reality doesn't completely match what we reached for. The more planning we engage in, the more expectations we carry for our futures, and the more likely that those futures are not going to match the expectations that we carry. There's a degree of personal freedom in knowing that you are not personally responsible for every bad thing that has happened in your life, but rather that we as humans are incapable of preventing all the suffering that we might face in our lives. Knowing that we are not to blame every time things go wrong is a comfort. This isn't to say that we should avoid taking responsibility in our lives, but it does give us permission to acknowledge that we have to put in an effort and that we have done our best. No one, not even ourselves, can rationally expect that we give more than our best. After all, there's nothing more than that can be given. When we accept uncertainty, we stand in a position to create positive change. After all, positive change is a point of uncertainty where we have taken a risk to shape the flow of events in our lives. This means that improving anything in our lives requires a degree of uncertainty, as it changes from what it currently is into what we would like it to become. And this transition is the uncertainty, because we can never know for sure if it's going to become exactly the thing that we were striving for, or if it will actually become something worse. That's the risk that is always present in uncertainty. But here's the rub. Change will happen to you, whether you want it to or not. By embracing uncertainty, you are taking on the power to shape it into the positive change that you are seeking. Embracing uncertainty is holding on to hope. It is having faith. And it can be hard. Well, that's about it for my rambling today. Thanks for coming and spending some time with me. If you like this episode, please click on the like button. It really does help. And until we talk again, you guys be sure to take care of yourselves. Bye.